Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shib, or Shib for short. I appreciate you being here today. Goal of this video is to dive through Argos Part 2. We're going to teach you all of the mechanics across both sides, sun and moon, so you don't mess it up for your team. If you like these videos, throw in a sub here. Any of my, following any of my socials and Twitch is the best way to help me. All those links are in the description. Let's do this. How to fight Santa's Naughty Reindeer Part 2. The major thing to note off the rip is everyone in Party 1 will have a sun symbol under their legs, and everybody in Party 2 will be moon. This is very important because each team will be separated throughout various segments of the fight and will have to handle some various mini bosses and mechanics. So let's begin. You'll all start the fight together, and then after a short period of time, Argos will pan the screen out and do a flashy laser attack. When this happens, you enter quote-unquote Part 1 of this fight, where the Sun team will be teleported away and forced to handle a mini boss and some mechanics. Let's dive into how this works. Let's talk about Part 1, or Sun Team work. The Sun Team gets teleported and they will need to face a dinosaur-looking mini-boss. There's some things you need to know. One, your team needs to bring destruction grenades, as the boss will have a few chances for destruction spots that need to be destroyed, or else the boss will do insane damage. So as you can see here, the boss has a destruction spot, we throw a grenade and boom, it gets destroyed. Secondly, the Sun team needs to delegate someone to be the Moon team call-out guy. This mechanic works like this. Throughout the dinosaur mini-boss, the Moon team will be fighting Argos, and then they'll see another one of those large laser attacks. When they do, they need to let the Sun team know that somebody needs to peek over the edge. So you might say now or something like that in chat to the Sun team. The Sun team will then send one of their guys to the top right of the map where they're fighting that dinosaur boss and let the Moon team know which of the 6 possible mechanics is going to occur. I will walk through each of these in a sec. They're really not that bad. Don't freak out. Now. It says happening here. Oh, that's outside. So now that you've seen how the callouts work, let's talk about each option that the Sun person might see. So let's start with Moon inside of the top left, which is as simple as the Moon team needs to fight Argos in the middle of the map until he does his wipe attack. Second is Moon outside. Same exact thing, except the team needs to stick on the outside of the map to survive his wipe. Third, we have Sun inside. This is the only one the Sun team needs to deal with. They need to stay in the middle of their map, so when Argos does his wipe, it doesn't wipe their team. Fourth, we have Arrow. The Moon team needs to go wherever the arrow is pointing on the map. It could be top left, for example, on this picture. Fifth, we have orbs. The Moon team needs to collect as many orbs as possible as they spawn around Argos. Not that big of a deal. And finally, we have stacks, which is quote unquote the most difficult. The Moon team needs to have one person at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock on a clock face. Argos will spawn sun spots around the map at those locations, and when they turn to moon spots, your team needs to jump into them, one person at a time, obviously, at those locations, to collect stacks. You'll be able to see the stacks collect near your health bar. It can go up to 10 stacks. Once you get 10 moon stacks, you go over and fight Argos, and you'll see them deplete because you transfer them over to him. No, you may have to do a couple of these mechanics, and if you're on the Sun team fighting the boss, the last 25% the boss is going to do insane damage, so save some ults and prepare to do insane amount of damage to drop him as fast as possible towards the end. All right, mine's purple. I'm going in.
I made it to 1.
I'm fighting him.
I wonder if to sit on this thing.
Till it turns purple.
Nice.
Come on, dude. Stop moving. Gonna transfer our stacks over to him. Good pally. After the Sun party kills their boss, you will all group up again to fight Argos. You will fight together for a short time, and then it's the Moon team's time to get teleported away. The Moon team's mini boss is a bit easier in my opinion, but there are a few things you need to know. When you start this boss fight, your team on the Moon will need to do 30% of the boss's HP in 1 minute and 30 seconds, or else the Sun team gets wiped. The Moon team should work to have awakenings up for this part of the fight and just unload and absolutely go in for the first 1 minute and 30 seconds. It shouldn't be too hard to do if you're doing that. Also, this boss has a move where he'll summon 4 locations around him that are safe zones. Each team needs to fill one of these zones and in order to not get hit hard by the ability. It's not detrimental, it's just something you should know. And finally, this boss will summon an additional mini boss a few times throughout the fight. The mini boss is only really there to get staggered. This team should bring whirlwind grenades and do everything in their power to stagger this mini boss's mini boss, yes, I said that, as soon as possible. Because when this boss gets staggered, the initial mini boss will come back and be knocked on the ground, leaving him vulnerable for you guys to hit him hard, and you need to keep doing this over and over until the boss is dead. Once this boss dies, you'll all group up on Argos again. He won't have that much health, just pummel him until he dies. Yeah, baby. Easy, boys. First try on both.